would like to start by talking about the negative view of adolescence, because most of the theory, more of the social representation about adolescence in this last century have been marked by this negative view. Most important is that this negative view about adolescence that presents adolescence as conflicted, troublesome, irresponsible, had some important consequences. Some negative consequences are that most of the people support punitive law about the control of adolescents. You also have an influence in the reduction or suppression of adolescents' rights. Also influence the intergenerational relationship between adolescents and the adult people at home and at the school. So maybe we found more conflicted relationship in the school and at family. On the other hand, this negative view could have some positive consequences. For instance, a higher sensibilization to some adolescent problems. There are no new problems, but now we are more sensitive to this problem. Maybe this sensibilization can influence in a higher investment in programs for the intervention and for research in those adolescent problems. The problem is that most of these interventions are in the framework of the deficit model. The main goal of the deficit model is to prevent health and behavior problems. How? Well, by the means of the research, we have to find risk factor, and then we try to reduce this risk factor to prevent the problem. Reducing risk factor do not have an effect on the competence of adolescents. So the positive development model try to promote well-being and competence in adolescents. How? When finding which are the factors in the context or in the same person that can influence on this competence and in this positive development. You can see also the arrow from the developmental assets to the prevention of problems, because these assets also can be a help for reducing behavior or health problems. In the first phase of our study, we try to build a model of adolescent positive development from the point of view of people with expertise in adolescence, people that work with adolescents, psychiatrists, psychologists, educational professionals. The question is, what are the competences which experts consider that should be promoted in adolescents? We use two qualitative techniques, a nominal group and a Delphi technique. And this is the model we find. The model has 5 important areas, social areas, a social area, including different social competence, moral, cognitive, emotional, and in the center, there are some personal competences, ego strengths, such as self-esteem, self-efficacy, autonomy. 27 competences are included in the model by the expert. But we use the flower as a marketing strategy. The second question of our research, the second phase, which are the family, the school, and neighborhood assets or factors that promote adolescent positive development. So we have several goals to validate our theoretical model of positive development, to find developmental assets and risk factors in the family, in the school, in the neighborhood, and to validate some instrument to assess competences in adolescents, but also instrument to assess the assets in the family, in the school, and in the neighborhood. This was our sample, 2,400 students from 12 to 17. We use 11 different scales for adjustment, for style. We develop and validate 3 scales to assess the family asset, the school asset, and the neighborhood asset. These are the results of our study. With regard to the validation of our empirical model, we find a factor analysis give us a 3-factor solution. The first factor is the more important factor, join of the or cluster of the competence related to personal experience. In the second factor, cluster the emotional, the social, and the moral competences. And in the third factor, we can find some academic competences. I should say you that in this, these are the results of a hierarchical multiple regression. We have included in the first step of the family socio-demographic variables, but you can't see in the table, but we included in the first step to partially out their effects. And the dependent variable were competences, all the competence in the flower together. Problems or maladjustment is internalizing and externalizing problem together. The score of the user record. It's very clear that all the dimension in the parenting style, affection, autonomy granting, behavior control, not too much, self-closure, and positive humor have a positive influence on competences and a negative influence on the maladjustment, on the problems. And to be considered a family asset, but psychological control and marital conflicts or intermarital conflict could be considered risk factor. With regard to the school, we developed a scale, and the validation of the scale give us 9 factor or 9 first order factor, 4 second order factor. Attachment to a school climate, clear values and rules, the regulation of the norm, of the rules in the school, and the empowerment and the participation for perception of participation in the life at the school. Most of the especially attachment to school and regulation, influence on competences, and the school image had an influence in the prevention of behavioral and emotional problems. And these are the results of the regulation of the neighborhood asset on competencies and problems. There is only one of the dimensions that is the availability of youth activity for adolescents. Is the only dimension that didn't present a significant relationship with competencies and problems. That was a little bit disappointing for us, surprising, because most of the clinical evidence indicates that participation in youth activity is an important asset for the promotion of positive development. But we also asked to our participants, to our adolescents, we also asked about the participation in extracurricular or leisure activity. And we found that participation in extracurricular activity was significantly associated to competencies and adjustment, but not availability. So, availability is important, but it's not enough. We think it's necessary to promote participation, especially among those adolescents that show a less level of participation or a low level of participation in this activity. In this table, this is a relation, a multiple relation, and we can find all the predictors of competences and problems. We found that girl presented a higher competence than boys, but also more problems. Not only internalizing, but always externalizing problems. Girls showed more internalizing and externalizing problems than boys, but a higher level of competency, especially social, moral, and emotional competencies. Family assets, the dimension related to the family, show a really significant association with positive development and with maladjustment. The school asset influence only competences, and neighborhood asset show a significant relationship with competences, but also with the prevention of problems. So we can say that assets presented a stronger relationship with competences than with problems, and that family assets were the most influential one. So family is pretty important. According to the model, positive model, competence and maladjustment are not the opposite or the same dimension. A boy would be can have no problem, no behavioral problem, no emotional problem, but not necessarily have to present a high level of competences. Do you understand? It's a different dimension. So we decide to create a typology combining these two dimensions. These are the typology of 6 types of adolescent: flourishing adolescent, present high competences and low level of problem, and in the other extreme, languishing maladjustment. Adolescent with a low level of competences and a high high level of problem. And in the middle you can find all the language, ordinary Malayeste, ordinary flourishing Malayeste. We can see in this figure the flourishing adolescents are those adolescents that present more assets at home, at school, and at the neighborhood. And languishing Malayiste adolescents are those that present the lowest level of assets in all the contexts. Conclusions. We can say that family is very important for children and for adolescents. Family during adolescence still present a significant relationship with the adjustment and with the development of the children. Authoritative parents are still the main asset for a healthy adolescent development. Involvement in leisure activities should be promoted, especially among girls and among adolescents from low socioeconomic status. Security and social control in the neighborhood are important assets for preventing adolescent maladjustment, and school connectedness and good school cleaning are key developmental assets. Empowerment. We consider that empowerment is a really important asset. Empowerment at home, empowerment at the school, and empowerment at the community. But the question is it possible to empower the adolescent when the social representation of adolescent is so negative? Maybe we should change this social representation. We are now working because this data are coming from a past research, but we are now involving in two different researchers. One of them is we are collaborating with the University of Pablo Olavide of Sevilla. We try to build a model about positive adolescent development from the point of view of adolescents and from the point of view of their parents. We are collecting the data by focus group, by name of focus group. We are now working with the data. What do adolescents think about the ideal family, the ideal school, and the ideal neighborhood from their point of view? What do parents think about the ideal family and the ideal neighborhood? What parents think should be the characteristic of the ideal family? We also have involved in another research about social network and positive youth development, because most of the research about social network is focused on addiction, is focused on negative consequences. So we are trying to understand which is the role of social network in the promotion of adolescent self-esteem, adolescent social